Check.
Okay, you don't have a loud voice like I do, so keep talking.
Check. 1, 2, 3.
There you go. Now we're picking you up a lot better.
Matias would beg to differ. He thinks I'm always loud.
Well, Matias is like a fucking cat. He's quiet as hell. Yeah, I said that. He knows that, though.
He knows he's quiet. He'll be like, shh.
He doesn't like any loud noises. That's why he doesn't like me being around that much.
No, false. He's very sensitive to sounds.
Oh, it's hilarious. He is just like a cat, though.
He is.
He's quiet. He lurks. All of a sudden, he's doing something. You don't know what he's doing.
Probably
Vacuuming.
sweeping.
Vacuuming with a fucking backpack on his back.
Ghostbuster style.
And doing yard work randomly.
Never sits down. Never sits down. Mm-mm.
Good old Matias, the owner. Your husband, my brother-in-law, owner of Author's Kitchen and Bar here in Appleton, Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
Our hometown, the place that you've called home for a long time now.
Yep.
As an adult. It's crazy. What's that been like for you guys?
We moved in... Let's see here. When did we move from Chicago? 2010.
2010 was when you moved out here, back up here.
Yep.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, I felt like it was later than that, but
no.
Yeah. 2010.
Yeah.
I only got one and a half years of living in Milwaukee before you guys moved back here.
I think so.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Okay, well this is Kalen Whittingslow. Okay, so I haven't made the official introduction yet, but Kalen Whittingslow, like I was saying, her husband Matias Whittingslow from Buenos Aires, Argentina, here Appleton, Wisconsin. We are inside of Author's Kitchen and Bar. They are the owners, operators. She is the genius who does all of the front of house and back end management work here.
Yeah.
You guys moved back here in 2010 like we were just talking about.
No, you know what? No, I was thinking I'm wrong. It was
like 13, right?
13.
Yeah.
I was just thinking this is how much of a time warp life gets into is I was like, oh yeah, we got married and then we were here. No, we weren't. We were in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were in Chicago. I came down and visited you guys a good amount.
Yeah. You know my timeline better than me. Thanks.
Well, it was something like that because I was like, I know I was over 21 when I came down to Chicago a couple times to visit you guys.
Yeah.
For sure. Or I was right around that age. I mean, you guys got married in 2010. You guys got married in 2010.
Well, that's what I was like. I was trying to think about when we got married and then when we had Mia. I'm like, where was that short stint between Chicago and Mia?
Yeah. Crazy timing. I mean,
but that's
like,
right. 2013. So 3 years in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 years in Chicago. And then you came up here. You guys started doing your own thing. I think at the time you started working at Fratello's again, right?
Yes.
You started working at Fratello's. Shout out to Fratello's here in Appleton. Longtime establishment for the Ulsberger family.
Yes.
Me and you, I mean, I started working there before you. I started working there when I was in high school in 2006.
Yeah.
And then I got you a job. And then you're forever in debt to me for the Fratello's gig.
For sure.
Yeah, and then he was working at SAP.
Yeah.
Which is actually where he met Josh, correct?
Well, they started at Carmela's.
Carmela's. Sorry, Carmela's.
SAP wasn't open yet, and then they opened SAP. So
right. So SAP and Carmela's. Carmela's really at the time really solid Italian.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how it is now, but
they're still doing well as far as I know.
Solid Italian restaurant here in Appleton, Wisconsin. SAP, an amazing brunch restaurant out near the Fox River Mall, also in Appleton, Wisconsin. Josh and Matias met at Carmela's.
Yep.
working together there. And then when did they start up the? Hey, we got people looking in through the windows. Yeah. And when did they start up the? When did they actually formulate the idea? Because I actually don't know any of that history. Like, can you tell me how that kind of came about?
Well, the owners of Carmela's, oh man, there's a there's a lot of ties into the owners. So Josh was married to Kristen, whose family owned Carmela's or owns Carmela's.
Oh, okay.
The DeFranza family.
Okay.
So Josh had been working with them for many years. Obviously, they had a different restaurant in Neenah before they had Carmela's. So Josh had been there. Matias, obviously, when we moved here, we were looking for something that fit his profile pretty well for his cooking experience, and it was pretty much just a really good fit really quickly for him there. And Josh and Matias, I think, always like immediately hit it off from day one. But they worked together, I want to say, for about, under a year maybe, because they had already formulated these plans, the DeFranza family, to open SAP a couple doors down and focus on brunch. So really almost do the opposite, right? Do the opposite of what they were doing with Carmela's. Carmela's had lunch and dinner, really good lunch and dinner crowd, but obviously Italian and more focused on, way different food than what brunch was going to be offering. So then they left Carmela's to open up SAP together. And I want to say it was not even a year before we had Mia. So maybe mid 2014, he went over there, or late. Because I remember distinctly when we had Mia in 2015, he was home for one day. Left me.
Oh, God.
Left me at home with a newborn baby. But Mom was there.
Okay, we're coming into trauma here.
No.
We're coming into trauma, folks. Family trauma is coming out right now.
No, it was just so...
This is going to be a freaking an episode where Matias just gets
roasted.
Ripped apart.
No, I guess what it was is
joking,
it's so
Matias.
distinct for me because he was working so much. They opened and they were so busy. Just the hype around it. The family had established themselves here.
Yeah.
So he was working like 17-hour days, like unhealthy. And
yeah.
And then when we had Mia, it was,
God.
had Mia and all right, love you guys, back to work. But that's just the way it was.
Crazy.
And I had good support besides that. So
cool. So then Josh and Matias were working there together.
they opened it up together. Yep.
Right. They opened it up together.
Main chefs. Yeah.
Worked there together for how long?
Until we moved to Florida.
Which was
2016. So like maybe 2.5 years.
So
2 years.
2.5 years. You guys moved to Florida. He gets a job at the Four Seasons.
Yep.
And we're gonna have a follow-up episode with Matias. I've already, he knows that I want to record with him as well. So we'll be going through all this with him, I'm sure, at some point, in from his perspective. But yeah, you guys come back from Florida, and him and Josh just reconnect, relink, and create the idea for Author's Kitchen and Bar in 2017, 18?
Yeah, it was
2018?
2017.
2017.
Yeah,
Cool.
so I guess that timeline is, SAP is super busy, super successful, and he's just working so much, so much.
Yeah.
But that's how he is when he works. He's super hands-on. He wants to cook every plate that's coming out of the kitchen. He still does.
Yeah.
Doesn't really pass the reins on to anyone. Multiple reasons. I mean, quality control, and you think you have to have a lot of trust in people to pass it on. It's your baby.
For sure.
It's your baby. It's your project.
Yeah.
So, he had like a really hard stop with SAP, and then we thought, this is super interesting, I guess, because we thought maybe if we're in Southern Florida, we'll see his family more.
Mm-hmm.
That was a real idea. Did we see his family more? No, it didn't happen. But the idea was to be that much closer to Buenos Aires, getting on one flight, Miami to Buenos Aires, and
right.
It's cheaper, right? So the access, and then monetary reasons and just to try something new. We'd lived in Florida for 1 year before we got married, so we had some connections and things.
Yeah.
And so we were there for basically exactly a year.
Yep.
And it was fine.
Yeah.
Just, you don't have your crew of people around you, or, the kids were so little. You're just in the throes of being a parent and then working. So it was sort of monotonous in a way.
Right.
So it was 1 year there. And there was a hurricane while we were there, and we left for a week because we boarded up the house. We were kind of freaked out. Everyone was saying it was going to be so bad. Actually ended up not being super bad.
Right.
Our neighborhood said that they never lost power.
Super bad. Super bad on that end. Yeah.
They never lost power,
Yeah,
though. Like, that was the main thing. Food, keeping your food cold.
Yeah.
People were going to get bottled water, sort of that mass chaos kind of thing. Bottled water, or lines at the gas station, worried about getting gas.
Yeah.
And we were just, okay, we're going to go. We're going to go home for a week. It was actually over Gabi's birthday. He was turning 1. And Josh came to Gabi's birthday party.
Oh, nice.
And then they really reconnected. Like, they'd stayed in touch, but the idea and really going like, hey, let's open something up.
Yeah.
It's time.
Stop working for other people.
Yes.
Okay, so where do you come into that? Because at the time, I know that you were, you had other jobs, like you were working at Kimberly-Clark and stuff like that. And then, like when the opportunity for them, the opportunity that they made to come together to create this, like, where do you come in? Because obviously they had in mind that you would run the front of house.
Yeah. At the first location, we were open only for 9 months. It was June 2018 to June.
18 to 19. April.
Well, the dates are important because we opened almost exactly a year after. So it was actually March 13th, 2019.
Right.
So, 9 months open there. And I was working a different job the whole time. We had a different person doing all the front of the house management, making the schedule, doing, running the show.
Who?
Being a host. Tyler.
Oh, I don't even remember that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you had somebody else. I don't even remember that.
Yeah. Shout out to Tyler. He's doing really well.
Okay, so you had somebody else. They had Tyler running the front of house for you, managing all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Tyler is actually, he's gotten super into cocktails.
Okay.
And he's at this really cool place in Chicago called 3 Dots and a Dash.
Okay, cool.
And he's like in that whole
high-end cocktail stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tiki.
Nice.
Kind of tiki rum theme.
Oh, dope.
So
That's
place
dope.
looks really cool.
Yeah.
Really neat. So, but he was it was cool. Like, he'd made some really neat cocktails back then. So he had an interest in it.
Actually, you're right. I do remember him a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Tyler's there.
Tyler was doing the front of the
burns down.
Yep.
And then you guys reopen a year later, almost exactly a year later, and then you took the reins or what?
Yep. I left my job, which I had been with them for almost 5 years with different positions and things because I'd worked remote when we were in Florida.
Right.
So I was with them. I was with that company the whole time.
Right.
And yeah, when we restarted, we just decided I always helped with back end things, computer things, the website, the social media, updating menus, all these little things that you end up having to do. Tyler was sort of the day-to-day person that was there.
Yeah.
But then there's all these other unseen things that you end up doing in all hours of the day, all hours of the night. So I was scrambling to do all these things. And it was super stressful, managing everything, full-time job. This felt like a part-time job. Kids
are pretty much full-time, yeah.
Kids are full-time, trying to have time for yourselves. So it was almost a year exactly that we reopened. So it was March 17th, 2020, when there was the shutdown.
During COVID, yeah. And you guys were only doing takeout
shutdown
at that time, correct? Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, it was probably I mean, we were kind of thankful that we just did takeout for a couple weeks because there
Of
was
course.
so much hype of us coming back. It was so busy, even just with to-goes,
Yeah.
that it gave us a chance to actually refigure out the computer system, even though it was the same system, work out all the kinks. There's always new kinks. Where is this? Where is that? Oh, this isn't working.
Mm-hmm.
So many things we were able to work through quietly with
Yeah.
no eyes on us.
Right. Right.
No one in here. So it
Yeah.
was really almost advantageous for us to just go straight into to-goes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because sometimes those soft openings can be, it's cool, everyone's learning, but there are still expectations from people. So
100%.
as much as you're like, hey, come in here and like be super cool and be patient, sometimes people aren't.
Yeah, a lot of the times, I mean, when I've opened restaurants, and I opened a huge one and a very nice one when I was in New York called Veronica. I don't think you ever came there with me. Did I take you to Chapel Bar when we were there?
Chapel Bar. No.
Because that's
No.
a part of it. So
No.
I opened, I was one of like the head bartenders at Veronica and Chapel Bar, which are on Park Avenue. I worked at Chapel Bar from 2019 until the pandemic, and then I went back when another friend of mine started running the nightlife there in 2021 or 22.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so much to get through, like especially, there's computer issues, there's placement issues, there's how you're going to be serving, steps of service and stuff like that that you have to go through. But we always did friends and family first, like a friends and family opening, and then like a soft opening to like people who are in the community that you have relationships with. And kind of like invited guests for like one night, and then maybe another night of that, and then fully open to the public. I don't know what you guys did, but I mean,
similar.
After COVID, you guys just opened to the public right away.
Well, after that, yes.
Okay,
after all the to-goes, which I mean,
I was gone. I wasn't here for any of this. This is why I'm asking these questions, because I don't know all the details to all this stuff.
We got to fill you in.
Yeah.
That was almost like our own soft. I mean, we didn't have to do a soft opening, right? Because we'd already been open, but it'd been a year from end to end, from the fire and reopening, and a different space. So you're just really trying to, get your grip on everything again. And you find all these little things. So it was really great to be able to work through those kinks without eyes on us.
Yeah. Right.
Food's still coming out the door, getting those to-goes out, all good, but we were able to work through it on our own.
Yeah. Makes it a lot easier.
Thankful for that. Yeah.
For sure. And at the time, I mean, like you said, like you were working at the other gig, and I know that you were doing a lot of quality control there and doing a lot of social media work there as well, and like tending to a lot of people's complaints and needs and all that kind of stuff. And I know that you do that a lot here, obviously, as you not only manage the place and make the schedule and do everything else on the back end and for the front of house, but you're also the one doing the TikTok, the Instagram, the social media and stuff like that. So has there been any kind of connections that you've seen? And also, can you just talk about like some things that you like, maybe common situations that you're put in with guests, right? So,
Thankfully, I'm happy to say that most of the feedback that we get is positive, and I'm so thankful for that.
Yeah.
Because it makes all of us really upset when there's something negative, because we take it personally. Because we were there, or I cooked that plate, it went out, it looked great, blah blah blah, or it's hard not to take it personally when this place is your baby.
Yeah, and it's all family, right?
Yeah,
for the most part.
Yeah. So I think negative things can hit us really hard, but you also just have to kind of shake them off. Like, there's always going to be someone that maybe you just can't satisfy.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And then if there's an issue happening live in front of me, I just want like quick resolution. I want someone to walk out as happy as they can be, whatever that issue might have been. You know, you get a plate. I always tell the servers, let's say you order something and you thought it was going to be you just had a certain picture of this dish in your mind, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
It's going to look like this. It's going to taste like this. And it's totally different. And you're not happy. You're not satisfied. Fine. Just ask me nicely. I'll take that back to the kitchen. I want to get you what you wanted.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Don't eat 3/4 of it and then complain.
Right.
Like
right.
we need to know quickly. It's okay. There are moments when, you know, it's just not what I had pictured, or it's not what I was thinking.
Right.
Or I just simply don't like it. It's not my taste. Everyone's got different tastes.
Right.
And you might find that something isn't for you. And yeah, I think if there's ever anything, you know, like a quote unquote live issue, I wanna take care of it quickly.
Yeah.
And leave that person feeling satisfied and the best that they can feel, given whatever the situation was.
Yeah.
Online stuff, I mean, I pay attention to it, but I don't like to start commenting and creating conversations below like negative things. I feel like it swirls.
Yeah.
So a lot of things I just let it go.
Can swirl. People can start like trying to get things out of you, et cetera, et cetera.
Usually I just let those things simmer. Like, okay, you said your piece. That person probably feels better. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm not going to start a conversation. Or if I do need to start a conversation, I start it in private.
Yeah.
I'm not going to start a public conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you got a lot of experience with that from I just remember some of the stories that you were kind of telling about the people that you were dealing with like the Huggies brand and like other brands that you were dealing with over at KC, and like is there anything that kind of like rings to your mind when we bring that up about like putting those kinds of fires out, like that pops into your head first?
Oh, I mean, there's so many. Oh, there's just so many.
Is there anyone that just pops up? Like the one that immediately comes to your mind.
Well, this was really well known on social media, but there was one. It's basically called the glass and wipes crisis.
Oh, that's
and
right.
It
I remember
was
this, yeah.
like millions and millions of views, all these videos, and there's glass in my wipes too. Oh, there's glass, and people truly thought there were glass shards or pieces of glass in baby wipes.
Right.
And there never was.
Right.
There never will be.
Right.
I mean, they are made of a microfiber that would like reflect the light. There'd be these really specific videos of people, you know, putting them up to a light and it scratched my baby's bottom too, and I also have glass in my baby's wipe. And that was, I feel like that was right when I started, and probably sort of the start of mega crisis moments started on social media.
Right.
I feel like that was kind of blazing the path towards it. Because I don't know if I had heard of, you know, different claims go like wildfire like that. Like this was all over news stations.
Yeah, that was pretty epic.
Our CEO had to go say something. We were putting out safety messages and managing all the comments and the messages and all that. But I feel like that was pretty early. I want to say that was, I'm sure anyone at KC that was with me is like, oh my gosh, I remember the exact date that the video came in. But I had only been there a couple months. Yeah, so I was like a instant social media warrior, because they're like, yeah, go take the Twitter column and reply to everyone that's saying something. I'm like, cool, let's go for it. I think I was there for only like 2 months when it happened. So it was in 2015, I think. It was in 2015.
Oh, really? Wow. Yep. I didn't think it was that long ago.
2015 or 16. That's what I'm saying. It was kind of early on, where now you see, I think, more I think you see more issues like that where something can really explode, but I think they go away quicker now. This one lingered and lingered and lingered because it's sort of now the next best thing,
Right.
the next best issue.
Right. Right.
But that was early. That feels early when you think of sort of what media does now and how media can blow something up,
Yeah.
but then it's gone.
Yeah.
Really quickly.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
that one seemed to linger for a long time.
It did. It definitely did. Kill a story with another story, but also that one definitely did linger for some reason. But I mean, probably just because of the sheer amount of claims and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you've gotten really good at
hyped up moms.
Yeah, and hyped up moms. I mean, their voices are going to be heard.
Oh yes, they are.
And addressed.
Yeah.
But I mean, that obviously prepared you for exactly what you're doing now, especially with all the stuff that you do, with guests that are coming into here, and also all of the funny TikTok and Instagram stuff that you make, which is kind of fun. Which I hope you can kind of talk about, if you found any enjoyment in that, because you do keep it interesting, which I always love, and I always enjoy about seeing a post that you make. But can you just kind of speak on that?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I'm pretty much just cracking up the whole time we're doing any of these, and it's really
they've become actors.
They have become actors. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to the whole staff.
Skits. There are literal skits going on here for their Instagram.
But some are so easy. It's just so fun. Yeah. I follow a bunch of pages that I just watch for inspiration. I mean, some are straight up copycats, but then you see a bunch of them. Yeah. Bunch of cafes and restaurants doing these certain ones that are kind of funny or trending. Yeah. But then it's just fun and silly for you to do it with your staff or your own group, whoever that may be. Yeah. So I always keep my eye on everything and just have fun with it.
Yeah.
No pressure though. No pressure. Just you can always post a picture of food and your features for the day, but if you come up with something a little more funny, or you're putting these reels or these TikToks out there and people that come in a lot see their favorite server or bartender, it's fun. I think it's fun for them to connect to the people in that way.
100%. And there's also the community here is definitely super supportive of not only this place in general, but also people that work in this industry, which is really awesome too. I'm sick of talking. Let's get into some of this wine. How about I open the bottle and I'll pour it for us, and you can talk about, you're a little bit of a wine snob, so let's tell us about what we're going to be drinking today and why we're going to be drinking it, and then we can get into some more wine talk about things that you like about wine and your journey through wine.
Love wine. Well,
so what are we drinking and why?
This is Honora Vera. It is a Garnacha, which the label used to have a picture on it that looked like Kyle. So we might have to insert that. I've got a photo. You have to pop it up on the screen now. It is changed now, but the original bottle, I would even say a couple months after we opened, someone was here, our cousin Nicole. She goes, "Oh my gosh, that looks like Kyle." So we sent him a silly photo, and that's why I picked it, because I really can't look at this bottle without thinking of you, because it's just that original label that, it's kind of artsy and it's a cool little look. So it looked like our model Kyle.
Which she loves to recreate my photos with her children.
Yeah.
Gabi Mati Witty on Instagram. You can follow us.
Yeah. And you know what? I got to do one soon. It's
been a minute.
Oh, it's been a
long time. This is tasting fantastic, by the way.
Yeah. So, this is a Garnacha, which is also known as Grenache. And it's a Spanish wine. It's not a blend. It's just the Garnacha. What else to talk about it? A lot of Spanish wine is... I think this one is kind of neat too, because it's vegan. I don't even know the percentage, but these vineyards are really awesome. They are almost organic and use really awesome farming practices and things like that. But a lot of Spanish wines don't tout that on the label. because it's sort of just what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that when some of the suppliers bring different wines in, specifically from Spain, you never really see it on the label. So it's kind of neat to dig into some of these vineyards and see how they're really doing a lot of things right in the wine world and offering you like a less processed wine or organic or whatever it might be. So this is one of them though. And I love a lot of the wines in this line, in this from this vineyard, from this winemaker. So we've had this one on the menu for a really long time. I love Spanish wine, so I almost always have to have one or two Spanish wines on the menu. We also have to have a Malbec.
Obviously.
So
Argentina.
Different part of the world, but yeah, I think wine is super interesting. I wish I even knew more. I have a pretty good rounded out knowledge, but I'd like to study it more if I have a minute ever. But
I could see you becoming a somm.
Yeah, I've got, even just for my own, for fun, honestly. Yeah. I've got a couple books that I've never opened, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it's just really cool. I mean, it's really neat to see how someone will like something and I'll hate it. And then I'll like something and someone else hates it. It just really goes to show you how vast or how different everyone's palates can be and what preferences end up looking like. And I think I've learned a lot as a wine drinker over the years, what I like, what I don't like, and then how it's changed too. Like I'd say 10 years ago, I could drink a California Chardonnay, and now I don't want to go anywhere near it because of its flavor profile and all the different things that, basically like the flavor profile. I'd much rather have a French Chardonnay. But I've learned those things over the years, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And I love being able to try wines here with everyone that comes in, and I'm continuously learning from the suppliers, a couple really knowledgeable people. So that's neat to always be learning something about that. I think wine is just there's probably like no bottom to the knowledge because there's so many wines around the world, right?
Yeah.
So just being able to learn about it and share that knowledge with people, share the wine with people. I think, I can't remember who I said this to, but I'm like, I just don't think I could ever, at least at this point in my life, be sober and not drink. I could give up wine. I mean, I could give up beer and liquor, but I would want to keep wine.
Yeah.
So I think there's something about it pairing with meals and having experiences over wine. I think everything else I could ditch, but I would be, if someone, there's some really good NAs now and everything. So I'm not saying that, it's not for me yet, but I don't really drink really any liquor or beer. It's mostly wine. And I just think I couldn't give that up right now.
I hear that.
Maybe someday.
I hear that for sure.
And just all the trips you can take and learn about wine. I mean, I would love to go everywhere.
Yeah, 100%.
Spain, Italy.
How can a wine not be vegan? Cheers. Salud.
Cheers.
Taste.
Someone just asked me that actually because we were kind of laughing about it, and I don't know, but I would guess it has to do with like the soils.
What?
Maybe what?
No, it would have to be with something with like the processing, where they're using something with like animals,
something in the processing. I don't know. I have no idea.
But it says vegan on. Maybe it's like a Tito's. Maybe it's just a marketing scheme. Tito's says gluten free when all clear liquor is gluten free. If you don't know that, now you know.
All clear?
All vodka is gluten free.
Even if it's wheat. What if it's wheat based?
Because of the processing.
Yeah, because people that want gluten free will ask for Tito's or like a potato based vodka.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I
So-
don't know. We're gonna have to Google that. I was like, yeah, I guess something in the processing, or I thought, could they actually consider, like, would there be something in the farming that if there's animal product in the farming, I guess that's where I was going with soil.
That could be
That's what I was
possible.
going
That
with
could
the
be
soils.
possible.
I know that
Yeah.
sounded silly,
Yeah.
but that's what I'm saying is like, is it something that's in the
Maybe they don't use. Yeah. Maybe some wineries are tilling the land with like cows or something like that, and maybe it's like
cow bones?
maybe they're not even like there's not even like an animal product that's used in it, but maybe they're using animals to like tow something or till or whatever. I don't know, but we can figure that out.
I mean, it
That's
can't
another-
be like manure, right? Because that's just byproduct of an animal.
correct.
I
So
don't know.
like you might have
we
already
gotta ask Siri.
Yeah, we can ask Siri. You might have already spoke about it when you were talking about all the Spanish wines and everything like that, but what are some specific things that you like and that you look for in a wine?
This is really good.
I know, it's tasting freaking delicious. She also just got done with a 6-hour shift. There was a private party in here as I was setting up, and she was cleaning and taking care of the
And cleaning.
of the group while I was
Shutting her
setting up.
down.
So 6 hours later, a wine is deserved.
Oh yeah,
and,
absolutely. I was a good girl. I didn't drink while I was working.
Good. Husband's watching the kids. We're having a little bit of fun. And drinking a little bit of wine.
Yes.
You know, we're talking about some good shit. But yeah, so what are some like specific things that you look for in wines?
Well, when I get wine for the restaurant, I think it's just the variety. Just trying to hit sort of all palates that you can, with also not having a huge wine list. With being brunch hours for us, we have scaled back the wine list a little bit, just for that specific reason. So really picking what you think is going to fly for everyone. So kind of a combination of, truly a combination of what I like and then what I think everyone's going to like. So a little bit of a guessing game, but I think you always have to consider sort of your likes first, because it's your place. You're curating it.
Okay, but what about like a wine that you drink?
Oh, a wine that I drink. Let's see here. I've been really into rosé, and I like a lighter style rosé, which is usually like a Provence.
Okay, but like what like specific things in a wine that you drink do you look for?
Oh, I mean it varies. It varies on my mood. That's a tough question. I'm very seasonal, so right now it's been like medium-bodied reds. Like, this is fantastic. This could pair really well with a lot of food, and it's kind of easy drinking, but bright and middle of the road as far as sort of the weight of it. But in the summer, I'm very, very seasonal. Prosecco, rosé.
Okay, but what are some of like the flavor profiles that you're kind of more attuned to? Like, are you heavier? Like, are you typically heavier? I mean, I know you said that it kind of depends on the season and stuff like that and what you're eating, but like in the generality of a wine, say, you know, a Chardonnay that you like what are you looking for? Do you typically look for something that's really oaky? Do you look for something that has like a lot of like pear in it? Like what are kind of flavor profiles that you go to?
I would say
and specifics.
Money
Like
specific?
no specifics, like a lot of tannins.
Oh,
or like,
sure,
you know,
sure.
Like what do you look for?
Well, I would say going with my seasonal preferences for a rosé, I've been getting French rosé, which I love, and it's very like crisp and clean. It usually looks lighter in color too because of the grapes that they're using, and maybe, I don't know, just really crisp and bright. I wouldn't say that there's like a ton of fruit like notes. I feel like it's more I don't know, it's just like super light versus sort of a Chardonnay or, you know, wine seems to trend to like what people like and what people don't like. So Chardonnay, the California ones tend to be like, vanilla or oaky or whatever. And that's what I've discovered that I don't like.
Yeah.
When you get a French Chardonnay, they are little more acidic. You can get some of that buttery from what they call like malolactic fermentation in the stainless steel barrels, but they're usually not in oak or very little oak. So I would choose a French Chardonnay in that case. But also, like with Prosecco, I usually like Italian Prosecco, and it's sort of middle of the road sweetness, because sometimes you can get sweeter ones, sometimes you can get more dry ones. And I realized too that I don't love sort of the brut style like champagne where it's kind of like yeasty. So I've made those discoveries slowly over time. So I tend to grab an Italian Prosecco, a French Rosé. I think the French Rosé is just like crisp and bright and maybe like a little floral. And then for reds, I kind of like big, bold reds, but not reds that are jammy and over extracted, which is what Mom really liked.
Okay. And
so we'd always laugh about that.
When you say over extracted, what does over extracted mean? Like
really juicy red grape that's really aged. So it's almost like sweet and a little, imagine that it's like sweet and pruny and really juicy. And then when they go to press it, it's like, it gets that sweetness to it. It's almost jammy. So you kind of get that with, like California Cabernets or California red blends that aren't very good. I mean, I don't like that. And some of these really baseline reds that you see just like at the store, kind of grab and go, or Walgreens or whatever, they're so sugary.
Yeah.
There's added sugar.
Yeah, and there's added sugar.
There's added sugar in them. So you kind of got to watch out for that. Like a lot of the names that, like the popular names, like I can just picture some labels in my mind that I think, oh gosh, just sugar bomb, super sugary.
Yeah.
So, Spanish reds, Malbecs. There's some really great Malbecs, and something that's really cool about the Spanish wines and a lot of the Argentinian wines is that they're cheap. You don't have to spend $18 on a bottle of wine. You can spend $9, $10, $11 for a really good bottle of wine. So yeah,
in Wisconsin.
in Wisconsin,
in Appleton.
Yeah. Asterisk.
Yeah.
Seaside note.
You're not going to find that for less than 20 in New York City.
Yeah. I would be really curious to see what this line is going for in bigger cities, because it's very challenging. Like, this bottle, how much do you think this bottle is by the taste of it?
I mean, it tastes really good. It smells really good. I love the body. Mm-hmm. It's not too sweet.
No. Take a guess.
I don't know. I would probably say like a $16, $17, maybe $23 bottle.
I think it's $7.
But wholesale or?
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah.
$7 or $8.
Wholesale.
But in the store, a retail store only throws a couple bucks on it. So you'd probably get it for 10 or 11.
Wow, that's crazy. I couldn't see it being less than, I mean, that's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't see it being less than 16, 17. But also, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know the complexities, and I don't know, I don't know enough about wine or have tasted enough wine to really put a pinpoint on that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's like an interesting thing that you say, though, because really at the end of the day, so I've done a bunch of side-by-sides. I think a year or two ago, there was some neat little closeout deals that someone had. And so I was like, cool, I'm going to get an Ovis, which is this really nice California wine. And I got 2 other bottles, and they were like anywhere from $50 to $90 a bottle. Just kind of went for it. I'm like, these are going to be good.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's my chair creaking.
And they were trash. And you probably liked the cheaper ones better, didn't you?
Not me, but other people did.
Oh, okay.
Not me. I said that's so snotty.
But that would make sense, though.
But yeah,
that would make sense, though.
Yeah. Yes. Or so we did like a side by side with like a $12 bottle and then like the 90. And I don't even know, like most people like the cheaper one.
Yeah.
But I think
But
that's just that's palates, right?
Right, and that's exactly what that was gonna be my next question. That's what I'm getting to, because like if you go around to general food in the United States, alcohol, whatever, 90% of people are getting shit that's filled with sugar, shit that is deep fried, drinks that are, mixed with, soft drinks, and using really bad ingredients, fake lime juice, fake lemon juice, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, of course, nobody develops a palate. And wine especially is one of the hardest things to develop a palate for, because it is so complex and there are so many variations of it.
Yeah.
So, like, that's exactly what I was about to ask you. Like, for someone who doesn't... Well, I'm sorry, before I ask the question, but it makes sense because they're going to go for the cheaper wine, whereas you have this... You're tasting all the sugar, you're tasting all the shit.
Yep.
And the bad processing and however they make it, to then be like, well, I'm going this route, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's definitely a factor. And I would say that even... Like if you were even like a $15 or $20 bottle and then you have a $90 bottle, that 15 or 20 maybe isn't that bad even. Maybe it's not that sugary red wine. And it's just interesting to see, like, if you do a side by side, what people end up choosing. Mm-hmm. Because we have opened like really nice wine, some of those nicer bottles. I'm not going like, 200 or whatever. I'm not spending that kind of money. This was kind of a fun thing, like, oh, we're going to gift ourselves some nice wine when we did this like 2 years ago. And I've gotten some other nice bottles just like recently to have at home, to share for really special occasions and things like that.
Yeah.
But it's so subjective, I guess.
Definitely.
There is some conditioning in the sense of like, yeah, if you're drinking that $10 like crappy California cab that's really sugary, and then you do a side by side with this like $90 nice Cabernet that's probably like too earthy for your taste because it's not sugary.
Right.
Your body is going, oh, I like the other one better. And that's what happens.
Yeah.
That is what happens. But I think also I do think it is just interesting at the end of the day, going like, even if you put a $50 bottle of wine, which is probably really nice, by like a $250, who knows what would happen?
Yeah. Are you really going to be able to tell the difference?
Are you going to be able to tell the difference?
Yeah.
Is it how much is it is?
Well, yeah, I think it's kind of like
age, the label, the winemaker, like there's all these things at play. So it's just really at the end of the day, you need to drink what you like.
Yeah.
Drink what you like at the end of the day. Find what your preferences are and stick with those.
Yeah.
Otherwise, and that's kind of what I always, when someone doesn't know what to drink, I'll be like, well, what do you usually drink? And maybe you suggest them and lead them down a path of something that's a little bit different, but they might not like it.
Yeah.
So you got to stick in the realm of what they like and then kind of tweak it to maybe something a little bit more fun. Everyone makes fun of me here because I always just say, well, this wine, it's so fun. Just try it.
It's fun.
Yeah. I won't use any other descriptors. No, we're
fun.
not talking like earthy, forest floor, pear, blackberry, whatever. I'm just like, oh, this one's so fun. Try this one. It's a really fun Spanish wine. So it's kind of like an inside joke now.
I'm sure people love that. Oh, it's going to be fun? Okay, sure. Yeah, I'll drink it.
See?
Yeah.
It's perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah, and I think I think wine's also interesting too, because I think not only like is it, of course, it's very complex and there's so many different variations, and around from the soil to the processing to the grape to the elevation to the humidity and blah 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 blah, and
just where it was made too, the same grape, like the terroir, whatever they say.
Yeah. The
same grape in different places. It's insane.
Yeah. And, so it's incredibly complex. So it has that to it. So obviously you have to take that into account when you're buying a $90 bottle versus like a $15 bottle. But then also I do feel like wine is almost a little bit like art to a degree.
Sure.
Like where they do get these like, okay, well, that piece of art now is going to be sold for $10,000. And it's like, well, why is it sold for $10,000?
Yep.
Like just because of the way it looks, or because like people with like high taste in art think it's beautiful, or is there this like thing behind it, right? This like mystique behind it, kind of a situation. So I think it is really interesting. But like for someone who doesn't drink wine, right? Like, what is something that you would say that they need to understand about building a palate for wine?
Dang, good question. I think just be open to trying everything. Don't stick with your usuals. Branch out. Maybe they don't even have a usual, though, if they're not a big wine drinker.
Right.
But, go to that place and get a flight and do some side-by-sides, or see what your server's favorite wine is if you're somewhere, and see what their fun wine is.
Don't ask for the fun one.
Don't get the Chardonnay. Get the fun wine.
Get the fun wine. Don't get the oaky one. Don't get the blackberry.
Well, diving a little bit more into the fun wine.
Sure.
There was two wines that we had on the list. They were both Spanish because I like Spanish wine. And one was it was a Spanish blend, and the wine is called Laya, Laya. And then there is a Verdejo called Shaya. And they're both like
Laya and Shaya.
They're both in the middle of the road, so not super big in body or super light or sweet, because when you're like stacking up the whites on your list, you kind of go sweet to dry, right? So the Shaya was right in the middle, and so was the Laya. So if anyone was looking for something different, I'd be like, just do the Shaya or the Laya. The fun ones.
The fun ones to say. They're also the fun ones to drink, and they're also the best ones to drink.
Right.
Classic.
So that was
classic.
The Laya or the Shaya. So they just they happen to rhyme.
Yeah.
And they were just the fun ones.
Yeah.
I still have the Shaya. Laya has been retired for a while.
Okay.
We have the Garnacha.
Yeah.
That would be the comparison.
The Garnacha has replaced them.
Yeah.
Cool. So did you ever like see yourself managing and owning a restaurant like at this age?
Yes and no. I think I've worked in restaurants for so long. I mean, I started dishwashing when I was 15 and banquet serving.
Where?
Club West.
Oh, you were working at Club West?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
I don't remember that. All right, maybe I just didn't even realize it. I mean, I was only 11 at the time. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was ready to work. I mean, I was working, I think, twice a week in the little drop-in daycare.
I remember that.
Weekends.
I remember that.
Weekends with mom. Any banquets, any dishwashing, whatever.
Yeah.
So, and she'd done it forever, right? So I just feel like we knew it, had been around it, been at parties that she'd thrown over the years and things like that. And then it's just so easy to have a service industry job. Once you're a server, you can do it anywhere.
Yeah.
You can make good money.
Yeah.
I think some of my favorite friends over the years I've made at restaurants between high school, college, and after. And I still keep in touch, I think, with a lot of them. Mm-hmm. You're sort of like one and the same.
Yeah, 100%.
You're in the grind, right?
Oh, yeah.
So.
It's a family.
Yeah, and it's
a community that's like global.
Yeah.
Worldwide.
Yeah. So I think started in high school, continued in high school, continued in college, continued after college.
Yeah.
Always been in it. And then I meet someone who's a chef. So it's like weird. Cool.
And you guys didn't meet in a restaurant, though. That's the interesting part, too, right?
Well, it was a bar.
But what I'm saying is you guys weren't working together.
We weren't working together.
That's what I'm saying.
I was working, yeah.
And that's usually how it happens. It's like usually people start dating each other that they work with, like in the bar or the restaurant or whatever. You guys weren't. You guys were at a bar, sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Which is also very common, obviously. But
yes. I made Matias an espresso, and the rest is history.
You made him an espresso?
I sure did.
While you guys were at a bar?
I was working at the bar, and we had a espresso machine.
You were working at the bar?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
In Argentina?
Yes.
You were working at a bar?
Yes, I was.
Serving?
Yep. Bartending.
Bartending?
Yeah, we had an espresso machine.
What the hell?
An Illy espresso machine.
I didn't know you were bartending in Argentina.
Yeah.
Since when?
Yes.
What?
How do you not know this?
You never told me this shit. Bro, we didn't talk that much, dude. You didn't really keep in touch, if you don't remember. You only came home like twice.
When?
During college.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. No, but this was
And
after college.
I came to Madison once.
Yeah. I mean, you were
after you graduated college and you were in Argentina, like I was still like in high school, or I was just
you
like,
were in high school,
I was about to
and
be
then
a
I was
freshman.
done. You were in college. It was a lot of like
missed connections for sure.
crisscrossing. No,
but also like I didn't talk to you about that shit. Like I didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Yeah. No, so after I graduated, I studied abroad. Then I graduated. And I went back to Argentina, and I was just trying to get whatever job I could. I was working at a bar, and the owner was from Boston. So he had basically all expats employed.
See, I didn't even know this.
Oh, yeah, Casa Bar. It was an old mansion. He was basically like a general contractor, super talented guy, was converting this old mansion in the middle of the city into a bar.
Yeah.
Hence Casa Bar, house bar, right?
Yep.
And it was me, 2 other kids from the U.S., because we were kids. There were 2 Mexican girls. No, one Mexican girl, 2 Colombians. I mean, just no one from Argentina working there.
Yeah.
And we were just all bartending at night.
Bro, what the fuck? I
Yeah.
didn't know that you did that.
Yes. Yeah, because after I graduated, I went back.
Yeah,
for
I
6
remember
months.
that. I remember that.
Yeah, so I had to have some sort of income.
Where were you living at the time?
I found an apartment.
Dude, what? See, I only really know about you having the family, and I barely even know anything about that you were living with while you were in college doing the study abroad.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's like a paired up thing, right? Like they make you stay with a family.
Yeah, I know that, but like, see, we've never even talked about you getting your own apartment in Buenos Aires. Like, I've never even had a conversation with you about that ever.
Yeah, I lived above a theater.
Okay.
And they rented out different rooms to people, and it was like this crazy mix of people. It was like 3 Argentinians, 1 German girl, 1 South African girl, me, a guy from London, I think. Like, it was just a crazy mix. Everyone just...
It's like a hostel.
Pretty much.
Sounds like a hostel.
It was very hostel-ish. Like, 2 shared bathrooms, shared kitchen, but everyone... Like, you had your own private room. Like, you were paying for your room. Almost sort of Airbnb-esque.
How many people?
There was 1, 2, 3...
2 bathrooms?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4... Like 5 bedrooms in the place.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right, word up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got a job at Casa Bar, and then you were bartending, and then he came in because he was friends with somebody that you were friends with, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. That's what I thought, yeah.
A friend of mine who I had met through another friend, this guy Josh, super sweet guy. He's like, yeah, I'm like doing some like bar backing. I'm like, sweet. Let me see if they need another hand. And so I went in and got the job. But
Interesting.
I met Matias because his friend Virginia came in to see. She was working for Pat, who was the owner. She was working for him, trying to kind of like establish more, I don't know, events. She is Argentinian, so I think get a local perspective. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what her role was, but I think she was going to try to amplify his space and do more events. She had a bunch of culinary and service industry experience. And so Matias had just worked with her. They'd known each other from when they worked in Miami together.
Oh, okay.
So he came in to say hi to her and just see her new job.
Oh, okay. Got you.
And then I made him an espresso.
Got you.
And then the next day he asked me out on a date. Texted Virginia for my number.
I love that.
Yep.
That's classic.
And the rest is history.
Oh my gosh, amazing. What was it? What are some of the big differences that you can speak about in relation to like serving in Argentina compared to serving in the U.S.? Like some cultural differences and, maybe just like the way they eat, the time that they eat, like that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like the culture of eating.
Yeah. Well, I think for my short experience bartending and everything, it was just like I was just scrambling to keep up with everything, just with how it was. And he'd have these big like Irish nights because he was Irish. Pat was or is. And so he had this band in one night, and I was just like, I am struggling. I can't hear anybody. Yeah, my Spanish is pretty good, but it was so hard. It was so loud. It was really a stressful night. And then so late, like people would go out so late. And so they're like many drinks into the night. So I think just managing the flow of people
so
who
late
were coming.
As in?
Well, it wasn't even late then, but I think I would close at like 2 or 3, and that's not even late anymore. I mean, that's not late for Argentina, but we were more bar hours because the club doesn't even start until like 3 in.the.morning.
Right.
But for us, we had a lot of expats coming into the bar.
Mm-hmm.
And so, which is cool. It was a really crazy mix of people, but, I don't know, just trying to like run the show as the bartender and make sure no one's getting like rowdy, and I don't know, not really like my style. I'm not super confrontational, so I had some like hard moments when someone would be like too drunk, or there was a couple people that had house tabs and seemed to always like take advantage of it a little bit, like, oh, just put it on my tab, and
yeah,
I don't know, just kind of weird, but I guess to be expected because I was just randomly working at this place just to pay my rent. So kind of funny.
What are like the common drinks down there?
I'll comment on the food. So everyone, like dinner's at like 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
10 o'clock. If you're going to go out for the previa, like the preview, that could be from like 10 to 2. Clubs aren't even getting busy until like 3 now. It's like, I feel like when we talk to Matias's family, it's like later and later every year for going out. And then you're there from like 3 to 7. So you're like walking home looking like a train wreck in the sunlight.
Yeah.
I'm like, can we go home when it's still dark?
Yeah.
No one can see me look like this.
Yeah.
But no, it's late. So dinner's at like 9 or 10. Breakfast is kind of normal, and so is lunch, sort of timing wise, but then there's a nice snack at like 3 or 4 o'clock that can tie you over to dinner. It's late. Everything, it's late. It's too late. It's tough.
Yeah. Very different.
You get used to it for sure. Like if you're there for a while, I got used to it, but trips are hard because our kids go to bed early. No one's going to wait till like a 9 o'clock dinner. They're in bed at 8:30. Right. So it's just adjusting your body to those big shifts and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
When we went 4 years ago when Julian was a baby, Christmas Eve. So we're really big on Christmas Day, right? Like breakfast and coffee and gifts and everything. Well, theirs is Christmas Eve.
Correct.
24th, big party.
Yes.
And we had dinner at midnight. And that was interesting. And the kids like got really crabby earlier and then got a second wave and then we're running around like crazy and then we had dinner and they're like, oh my gosh, we got to go to bed.
Yeah.
So it's tough because like your bodies and little bodies especially don't adjust to that. So just because we ate at midnight and went to bed at 1 a.m., like they're still up at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
No
well,
one. Little kiddos
I'll keep him in bed. Trust me.
No one's sleeping until 10 o'clock like they need to.
Don't walk out of that room until you see 8:30. Don't even think about walking out of that room.
Oh my gosh! If only. It doesn't happen. Doesn't happen.
Wouldn't cut it with me.
Yeah, it's cool, but there's like a big like I think like at least Matias grew up like this. Like there is like a mega, I don't know how it is like still today, but at least for him it was very like sit down and have your meal, like mega meals, a shared experience culture kind of thing. No one's going to go sit by the TV and eat. And no one's getting separate meals. Which I think there's a convenience factor of that now. Like just to, you know,
I like that. I like that style.
The separation or sitting down?
No, I like the togetherness. Togetherness.
Are you Julian?
The togetherness part of it. You ain't got to be cooking all these different meals. That's some American shit, bro. Like,
well, and
you eat what you get.
Yeah, and that really bothers Matias because it was always there's one thing for dinner. It's what was being cooked, and everyone sits down. And
I like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I think breakfast and lunch you can't really do that. Whatever. You're dashing to school,
in America.
Yeah.
It's harder.
You're dashing to school, or the kids are all eating at school, whatever. But like to be able to sit down and join together for dinner, like you got to try to do that as much as you can.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that was the rule. I mean, that's pretty much how it was. It was like sit down and eat, and this is what you get. And if you don't eat it, like you'll go to bed hungry. Sorry,
right.
bro.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. I like that though.
Yeah, I do too.
That teaches you freaking, teaches you to eat, teaches you to like shit, and appreciate, what you get,
Yeah. You get what you get, and you don't throw a fit.
You get what you get. Exactly. I wanted to ask you before we actually kind of got off the subject, but what's up, y'all? Hey, what's up, y'all? I wanted to ask you if there's any memories that you had, like with mom catering or like at Club West, like any like particular stories or like a catering event that like stuck out to you.
Oh God.
that comes to your mind when you think about it.
Let me think on that. I don't know. I just like now that I've been in that, I don't know if I have a specific memory, maybe, but I have like a few comments, I guess. So when I started doing dishes, I just feel like I was always with like another teenager. And so we were always like trying to go super fast and like do it really well. And I would just be so shocked at like how wet I was and how physical it was and whatever, kind of like in a complaining sense, but got used to it. Like, I'm not above this. I'm going to do the grind and and dishwash. But no, I mean, we would do huge caterings. And I just remember like these big salad trays, and they were they would prep them during the day, and I would get them out, and she'd be like, okay, these are all the ranch, these are all the French, and I would take the scooper and scoop all the dressing on, and these huge trays that we would take out with the stands. There was some big weddings there. I was always doing really big groups in the ballroom.
Oh yeah, the big ballroom in the back for sure.
So, yeah, I don't know if there's anything specific though. This just learning the ropes and like her always, just being so attentive for the groups and wanting the best, and she'd always be really funny with Steve. Steve Wamsley.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Like, how would she be funny with him?
Just like, she always wanted to like exceed the expectations of everyone, and it always just felt like Steve was kind of like, okay, I'm like, this is fine. And she'd be like, no, you need to do this or whatever, and like push him a little bit. And so there was like an interesting dynamic between them. But one thing I do remember from Club West, and this isn't banquet focused, but this is before I ate beets.
Okay.
I just always remember her, eating these big salads from the salad bar, and she'd have like 3 or 4 beets on them, which I freaking love now. And I would just be like, oh my God, what are these? Like the color, it's leaking all over the plate, you know, and she'd put like cottage cheese on it, and the cottage cheese would get pink.
That's true. She would do that.
Yeah. So which I would do that now, like a bomb salad with cottage cheese and beets. And I would just be like, oh my God, this is disgusting. What, you know, what are these? I just distinctly remember her always building these salads at the salad bar.
Yeah.
Always.
I
And just
remember that.
specifically the beets and not liking them. And then now I love beets.
Yeah, I love beets too.
But they're so weird.
They are weird when you're a kid. Yeah. Yeah, they're very weird when you're a kid.
Yeah, always making a salad with the beets and just being like, oh my God.
I forgot about that.
How are you eating these?
I remember that too. I was always doing that too. Yeah. I would always eat the cottage cheese there. I forgot about the salad bar. Shit.
Amazing salad bar.
I used to eat at that salad bar constantly. Oh my God. But she catered your wedding though, right?
She did at Ridgeway.
Yeah. What was that like?
That was awesome. They did like appetizer stations because I wanted it really casual. So no sit down dinner.
I don't remember much of your wedding.
I remember one thing in particular.
What? Say it. What do you remember?
You doing the whisper song on the dance floor.
Hey, little mama, let me whisper in your ear. Tell you something that you might like to hear. You got a sexy ass body in your ass like so. Mine never touch. See it so. Then what's it go? Cause I'm gonna be a real nasty man. How else does it go?
Oh.
Yeah, I can't remember the rest right now.
Oh my God.
Hey, little mama, let me whisper in your ear.
Why do you see that? Oh, why do you see my...
Oh. Wait do you see my...
Oh.
Wait do you see my... Oh. Oh, I thought I guess I forgot. Okay, no, okay, this is still rolling. Okay, good.
Oh my God, hilarious.
Yeah, I was kind of just thinking about that as I was kind of writing up questions.
We had a circle around you, and you were like doing the whisper song. And I remember
was I on a microphone?
You weren't, but it was like, you know, you had your hand was your mic.
Oh, okay,
you know?
okay, yeah.
And I think this DJ was basically like the cheapest DJ we could find, and a friend of mom's, like an older guy. And he had to download the whisper song.
Oh, you're right. I had to show him how to download it.
God. He had to download the whisper song so that we could actually do it.
You're right. That's hilarious.
Like he's like, oh, I've got, you know.
Yeah.
I've got the clean version of whatever. It's like, no, we need the whisper song.
And the dirty version, bitch. Yeah. Not the fucking clean version. Who do you think I am? Coming up here from Milwaukee. I'm drunk as hell. Put the dirty version on.
That was hilarious.
Dad drove us home drunk as hell, fucking swerving. I was hammered. Winston puked. I brought up like three of my super good college friends with me.
Oh my God.
They just crashed your party. John came, Luke came.
Yep.
John, Luke, Winston, Preet, I think, was there as well, right? I don't know. I think Preet came too.
I actually didn't consume that much that night, but like the emotional response to that day makes everything a blur. It's really weird.
Oh, I mean, there's so much going on.
Yeah. And you're like, you just want to enjoy, and I mean, yeah, because I literally I was like, I think I had like, I didn't have that much that night, because I was so busy talking and seeing people. I wasn't consuming, which is probably better, but
which is good, yeah,
but even just like the emotional stress on that day, just seeing everyone and overwhelming and whatever, it was a lot. Like, I think everyone probably feels like their wedding day is kind of a blur.
Definitely they must. Let's get back to authors. You guys work with a lot of people in the community here, like Voyagers for Bread, and I don't know whose coffee you're using right now. You're using Lawless Coffee, right? Right down the road, block down the road. Who else are you working with here in the community to like for ingredients or whatever else?
Well, we use what's his I'm not going to say it right. We get local mushrooms, which is really awesome. He brings them in. They're beautiful, absolutely beautiful. We used to use this guy at the other restaurant called I love his name. It's called Plethora of Fungi.
Nice.
He moved. So I'd have to look at my phone to tell you the name, but there's a guy that does a mushroom delivery like every week or every 2 weeks.
Okay.
Beautiful, like lion's mane, I don't know, whatever all the varieties are.
Yeah.
They make for really cool photos. They're so neat.
Yeah.
And then when we're in season, we use as much as we can from Uncle Mark.
Right. Shout outs to Uncle Mark.
Yeah, whoop whoop, Uncle Mark.
Uncle Mark, our just real quick, our mom grew up on a farm in Shiocton, Wisconsin, which is about 25 minutes outside of Appleton, Wisconsin. Amazing farm that's been in our family since, I don't know, obviously our grandma, but I don't know if it was somebody else's before that.
I don't know either.
But I don't even know how many acres they have, like 100 acres or something like that, 80 acres, do you know? I don't know. But Mark Johnson in Shiocton, one of the most incredible farmers that you'll ever meet in your entire life. And what does he bring you guys? What do you guys use from him?
Different squashes, like different squash, whatever he has. Matias really likes buttercup, so depending on the season. Carrots, he does asparagus, he does pumpkins for our house, not for here. But beets, he always has really good beets. Apples, we got apples from him last year.
That's right, he's got a couple apple trees now right in the front.
Yeah, sometimes carrots. I mean, it just depends on what he plants, but cabbage, cauliflower, the purple cauliflower. So we just take anything. He'll just bring in trailers and buckets of stuff. So, yeah. And then Voyagers for sourdough. We use Milo's eggs. They're like brown eggs they're in Wisconsin. I'm not sure the location.
Okay.
And Lawless has got the coffee. I try to keep a lot of. What really catches my eye for alcohol sometimes is the local stuff. So I've got a bunch of stuff there's a couple Door County brands and a couple Milwaukee brands. Central Standard out of Milwaukee. Hatch out of Door County.
Okay.
There's actually a handful more. I probably won't be able to think of the names right now, but so kind of mostly that. Yeah. And it just depends. I mean, the guys will try to get most of the greens we always get organic. Greens are a big thing versus other things, right? Yeah. More important with how much they're sprayed and things like that. So like all the arugula is organic. It's not local, but they just try to pick like the best things. And really, like, if you can't, I'm not back there watching the day-to-day orders or anything, but what I'd love to see is like even they get block cheese and then shred it. I'm like that's like labor intensive is just shredding the cheese. But you notice when you get these shredded cheeses, there's almost like a powder on it.
Yeah, it's the powder. Yeah, right? They like dry it out or something. So
totally different.
So it doesn't stick.
Yeah. Oh man, they get a ton of local cheese. Yeah. That's another thing is Belgioioso.
Belgioioso, yeah.
Cars. Pretty much all the cheese is local. Yeah. Yeah. The Swiss, if he gets blue cheese. Yeah. The Havarti, the burrata. Yeah. So good. But yeah, even just like shredding the cheese, that's like a little baby step of making things better.
100%.
Versus getting it shredded. I mean, you can buy everything chopped. You can buy everything sliced, everything shredded. You can buy everything ready. Yeah. So even if you get some of these things that are not ready, you're doing like a baby step of making the food better. 100%.
Absolutely. Fresh.
So whole carrots, whole potatoes, everything. And then, then it just becomes, I mean, it's labor intensive.
Yeah. More labor intensive, especially with like the shredding. I'm sure the cheese dries out or something faster when it's shredded like that. But, Yeah, the reason I asked about that and like who you use and who you work with in the community is because like you're like mom, you have this like endless like communal energy that like you're building with people and like you're bringing people together here. And like I know that you have this crazy connection to so many people here downtown now, and like around the city because you guys have built this like star of energy downtown, right? So like what's that been like for you building such a deep connection to the community in Appleton that like you grew up in and then like you went away and now you're back and like you've created this big like just like energy vortex of connections with the community.
Well, I think like you just like you get to see so many people here. You get to see so many people here, and sometimes like I don't even know who it was. There was just someone the other day that was sitting at the end of the bar, and I think it might have been Ryan. Hey, Ryan McMurtry. Love him. He comes in like once or twice a week, and I know him from high school. Who we saw today.
Yep.
I want to say it was Ryan like 2 weeks ago. He's like, "Do you just know everyone that walks in?" And I'm like, "Yeah, kinda."
Yeah, you do.
I mean, I'm here every day, and I'm really good with names.
Yeah.
I forget a lot of things. I'll admit that. I have an ongoing to-do list literally right here on my phone because I'm so forgetful. I really am. I'm forgetful. But I am very good with names. And there was one day, like I said, maybe 2 weeks ago, and he was like, "Oh my God, you knew everyone that walked in." I'm like, "Yeah, some people I know from before or from connections from mom and dad or you or high school having grown up here. But there's a lot of people I know from the restaurant just from being here."
Yeah.
And I love it. I love like greeting people with their first name, and I love seeing people and catching up. And in fact, I think there's some funny reels about this is like maybe we'll see this reel come out on our Instagram page at some point, but when the owner or the manager is behind the bar and you're trying to work around them because they're having a conversation with someone, so they don't move. I'm usually standing over the ice. I'm usually standing over the ice well.
Yeah.
Talking to someone and everyone's moving around me, and I'm like, "Oh, sorry about that." So
but not a lot of owners do that though.
True.
That's why I'm asking you this question.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's not like a super common thing. And that's also why people keep coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
because you do take the time to like really develop this like these relationships with people,
I mean, I think one is there was a good base already. Like, Matias and I have established ourselves here, and we know we have a lot of friends and family. And then friends and family expand that. Friends of friends, friends of family coming in. So you have this like really good base to start. And then you just get these people that keep coming, and it's amazing. You just have like build relationships with people that come in and see you all the time. Like when we were leaving today, I waved to like 3 tables. Like, "Hey guys."
Yeah.
Good to see ya. Ryan, another gal, Irma was behind us. There was another table behind us, Brooke. It's like there's like not a lot of people that I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I know.
I know. It's annoying.
I've come back and I've been able to see that like firsthand.
Yeah. But it's because people are loyal and they love to come in and they love the restaurant, and I think it's a space for them to come hang out and have a great meal.
Yeah.
But I love it. Like I love seeing all these people and connecting with them. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing, and I just wouldn't have it any other way. I wouldn't not like be here.
Yeah. If you're going to do it, like, why do it half-ass?
Yeah.
Halfway. Yeah, for sure. You better, like, learn everybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so, like, kind of, like, more to that point, like, not only are you here all the time working, but you guys are also doing a lot of, like, you guys are curating a lot of events, like, on your off hours as well. And during normal working hours, like doing some of your, like, the market. Or like doing the yoga on the weekends or whenever you guys are doing that. I think it's mostly on the weekends. But like and the pasta classes, right?
Mhm.
You guys do pasta classes here. Like, first of all, do you have anything coming up? Do you have any events coming up? If not, okay, so no events coming up. Okay, so that's cool. But like, can you just like talk about some of the events that you guys do that are like pretty frequent, like kind of reoccurring events, and some of the things that have like made big impacts and that have like had good turnout?
Yeah, I think we're always trying to create experiences because at the end of the day, that's what eating is. Like, Matias wanted to call the place Cocina de Autor, which is author's kitchen, because there's a phrase in Spanish, and honey, I'm sorry if I butcher this, but it basically means like, come to my house, like, es cocina de autor. Like, I'm the author, and I'm gonna like cook for you and like show you this mode or this story or whatever. Or like I've watched cooking shows with him, and they're like, oh, the chef will be like, oh, like es cocina de autor. It's someone's story, or it's someone's recipe that they're like embodying and making and doing for you. So I think whether you're coming in for an event or just a meal, like, you want an experience. And most of your really great experiences are associated around food and drink. Punto. Like, that's it. Like, you'll remember places that you've been and things that you've done by the food and drink, and then the people you're with. So it's like the connection between the people and then eating and drinking.
Right.
So not only do we want to do that on a daily basis, but then also like curate really cool events, because I think unfortunately we don't get a ton of great weather here. And then when we do, it's super packed. I love all the events that we have in Appleton, specifically downtown in the summer. Amazing. So many things to go to. And there's been a lot of really cool things popping up in the past year or two of different places to do fun things and have experiences that are indoor even when it's not nice out. But I always think about that. Like, I want to go somewhere and do something with a friend, with a partner, whatever. And so we think about that. So we've done cooking classes, and they're demonstration cooking classes. We don't have like butcher block tables we can bring out here. So the guys get out and demo everything. There's light participation, but really it's sort of like sit back, relax, have a glass of wine. We're going to feed you really well. Come up, rolls a little bit of pasta, and then hang. So the cooking classes have been really amazing, and it is so fun. Like, people really love them because it's something different, and they're getting that time with their person, whoever it may be.
Yep.
Like, for pasta classes, they'll do the demo class, and then those people sit down for a full meal. And then you're catching up over the meal.
Right.
So it's really neat. And then we've done, some little local markets and have had vendors in and served some food. We've done what we call warrior brunch, where we transform the back room into a yoga studio. I think we can fit like 22 total. And then they come up for a really healthy, amazing brunch buffet and coffee. And
a buffet.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah, we set it up on the bar.
Yeah,
so it's like, eat whatever you want.
Nice.
The price per person includes adult drink. I mean, you can have a fantastic NA if you want.
Yeah,
You don't have to drink, especially after you did yoga.
Yep.
But you can have a mimosa or a Bloody Mary or whatever. So those have been super fun. We actually want to get one of those on the calendar soon, so we need to check. But we do a ton of private parties, like I did tonight. The space is so great for private parties. If people want to have a group here for meetings or dinner, whatever, baby showers, bridal showers, small wedding groups.
Yeah.
Bigger wedding groups. We've done it all.
Yeah.
But the events that we put on as like a booking or pop-up style are more based around an experience, like the cooking class or the yoga.
Right.
And people seem to seek it out.
Yeah, and then you also do the night market. Or, well, you did night market and day market, right? So
Both.
you brought in like local artists and stuff
Yep.
like that. People can still sit down and
DJ.
like
The night one we had a DJ. It was super fun.
DJ.
Yep.
Artists in here selling their own stuff.
Yep.
And
Crafts,
you guys had
art.
like what, limited menu or full menu? Which one was it? Was full
Limited. More
limited menu.
snacky. Snacky to
So it's
keep it
just like
kind of
quicker,
light.
faster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, cool. So you want
Always
to
trying to think about events, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's a good way to create community and
Mhm.
also just obviously just get more people in the door
Yeah,
too, you know.
Absolutely.
But you guys empower so many other people as well, which is really, really cool too. So cool. Love you. Thanks for doing this. This is fun.
Yes.
You want to tell people where you can they can find you and everything like
Oh.
that? Talk to that camera right over there on the right-hand side.
Hey, you. Yeah, if you want to follow us, it's Authors Kitchen and Bar. Both on Instagram and Facebook. I haven't done a ton of TikTok lately. Not so happy with TikTok. They always take my audio away.
Not so happy.
Yeah. So check us out on Instagram and Facebook. Our website's pretty basic. I'll admit that, but we don't use it a ton. It's basically just check out the menu and the hours. But we'd like to have fun on Instagram. That's where we're having the most fun.
Instagram. Wait, did you tell them what it is?
Yeah. Authors Kitchen and Bar.
Okay.
That's it.
Author, like an author, like
An
a
author.
writer.
Yeah. AUTHORS KITCHENANDBAR. Authors Kitchen and Bar. All spelled out.
That was very mom of you.
Yeah, that's us. That's us.
Very Nancy Ellsberger of you. You got to make a song. Now you got to make a song to it.
S as in Sam, P as in Peter.
Make a song to it. Write it out and make a song.
I might.
All right.
I might. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that's us. That's us. We're just here doing our thing.
Cool. Downtown Appleton. What's the address? Did you say the address?
No.
Tell them the address. Downtown Appleton, College Avenue, between
125 East College Avenue, Appleton, Wisconsin. If you find yourself in Appleton, Wisconsin, you better come visit us.
Yep.
The draft is next week.
Yep.
It's going to be busy.
NFL draft coming up next week.
Kyle might have to bust some tables. Actually, nope,
I
he's gone.
I leave in a
I'm
day
teasing.
and
I know.
2 days.
I know. I'm teasing you.
Going to India. We'll see you in India. I'm sure going to be having some. I'm probably going to record a couple episodes while I'm there too. Probably record a couple episodes while I'm there too.
There
so
are 2 apartments above us, so we
Ghosts.
just heard some creepy noises.
Ghosts are in here. All right, cool. Love you.
All good vibes here. No creepy ghosts.
No.
No.
No, I've never got it from this place.
No. Thanks, bro. Love
Cool.
ya.
Love you too. This is fun. Cheers.
Cheers. Beso.
Besos.